well, it's 2. I got up at 1:30, but it was like I kept being awake. Like all the nights are just weird. I don't even know anymore. But in the time where it is more where my eyes are shut. But anyways, so 1:30, still just kept whining and whining and whining, and it kept making me more aware. And so then finally it was like, fuck it. Oh, but I do want to say first thing is Vortex came up with such a good idea, and it was to put the horse paste right on the thing. And yesterday, because I mean, I'm just like going through it too. It's just like, oh my God, these things happen, and you just start replaying like so many different things. And it just is like, oh my God, I cannot believe we trust these people with our fucking health. And they tell us to fucking inject this shit. You know, when I was looking up about the botulism and stuff, I was like, because I knew more about it when I was a nurse, like towards the end of my career, because I was working at this place. After my brain injury, I was having problems, man. Working, oh man, I was a mess. I was losing job after job. I couldn't remember things. I was a mess, and but it was just my hormones. But so but at this one place that I was, it was like where these people who are got serious issues go after they get kicked out of. It's all insurance. Like if people think like you go to the hospital and you're going to stay there until you're done being sick. No, it's based on your insurance. Your insurance says, okay, well, you get 2 days on that. You get 3 days for that. It's just like bereavement at places. It's this how many days you get. Finish your grieving up. Hurry up. It's like it's just bullshit. It's their control over us. It's what we've allowed this to be. We've allowed this to be our lives. And now we have to, we've gone deep into it. And we've built our homes on it. And so now it's like the whole thing has to fall apart. But I was going off on something, but I'm going to go back to so I would put on, I have my toothpaste mixture, and it has the minerals and it has the charcoal and stuff. So I had put that on. I had just gooped a bunch on there. I had done aloe vera. I had done castor oil. I did aloe vera and castor oil. I did, it seems like there was something else I put on there. But I wasn't having really any kind of, I was having a lot of reactions, what was weird. And then you get it in your head, like you start thinking of what these reactions are. Because then they say like, if your butt is itchy, that's worms. And when you think about your butt being itchy, right, it isn't like itchy. It's like this tingling. It's like this movement or something, this sensation. And so that sensation, they say, is parasites. And which is really weird too, because pinworms are usually what give people that itchiness, and that's what they get when little kids, they'll eat and they'll have dirty fingers, and then they'll be out there sticking stuff in their mouth and they'll get pinworms. And you can see them when you go to the bathroom, because my mom told me, because when I was a little bit older, when she was still raising all those little kids, and she would tell me about different things like what she was going through, and they all got pinworm, they all got worms. I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, you look down and you see them. They're in the poop. When it comes out, you see a whole bunch of worms. I'm like, oh my God. And so, we would see that if we all had pinworms. So, but I don't know, like all this tingling, if it's just because our GI system is so full of parasites and stuff, and it's all this movement, and it creates all that sensation. But anyways, so that weird tingling and sensation, I would put something on it, like the aloe vera. Oh my gosh, that turned it went insane. And there was a few different things. Sometimes the castor oil would seem to like calm it down, where it was like, oh God, there's relief. There's nothing, no movement. It's intense sensation going on up in there. And it's right next to, I mean, it's so close to my eyeball. And so, and I just, oh my God, I just can't even, I mean, it's one struggle when you're sitting here struggling, trying to get this plastic taken out of you, and you keep going through all that and just like, oh my God, they put plastic in it. I mean, we line up to have plastic injected and put into us. Like, what the fuck, for looks? Like, to look good? Like, what? And you don't even look good for everybody. There's just as many people who hate big boobs as like them. It's like, what the fuck? It's like mental. It's like, oh. And going through that, my doctor's office called last night. I was sitting there, and I had my phone right in my hand because I'd finished up with my crocheting, because at some point my hands and my eyes, this is like an art project, I swear to God. It is so extravagant, this shirt to me. You know, I'm not an extreme crocheter, so anyways, I'm going to still wait and show it tomorrow, because tomorrow it should be done, and I'll show it tomorrow. But so I had finished, and I was holding my phone, but every time I pick up my phone, Stella starts whining and stuff. So I can't just sit there for hours and hours looking at my phone and stuff. I'll like try and get some videos in real quick, and I'll be going fast trying to see what's going on. And it's like this, just holler and holler, and it's just like this intenseness. It's kind of draining, really. I was thinking about it. And this is so emotional. And there's this one song, this girl's dying, and her and her son wrote this song, and she's in hospice. She may have already died. I don't know. This is so confusing. Everybody is so on this story, and everybody's talking about it. Everybody's sharing it. And they wrote this song, and it's a TikTok song sound or something, and they want TikTok to pay her, so use her sound. So every motherfucking video has this song. So a song was blasting in my mind all fucking night. I was like, God damn. And so that kind of stuff is like, fuck, dude. And so I had finished my crocheting. I was sitting there, I had my phone in my hand, and it rang, and it said my doctor's office. So I was like, weird. And it kind of, for a second, I thought, oh, maybe they're calling back. Maybe now they're going to say, oh, sorry, you do have it. We've got more lab work in, and yeah, sorry, you're going to have to come in. We've got some serious issues we have to talk to you about. So I'm like, fuck. So I answer it. No, they're just calling back to go over it, because they had left a message before. So they just called back to make contact with me, I guess, and tell me to my face. And so first thing was, I'm full of antibodies and no viral load. So my body kicked that virus ass. Kicked its ass. It has one virus it's been working on for fucking 40 years. So I'm not a fucking superhero or anything. I may be, but not fully. I'm still in the process. So anyways, they had told me, and she's going through all my labs and tell me how perfect. And I'm just, it's trippy. And there was this Kelly who was dependent on that medical, who did take those pills, who did go try this, who did wait for this, who did, and I had no idea. I was blind to this other side, this other possibility. Like, it wasn't even in my fucking radar to even consider alternative medicine. Like, it never even, and you get so convinced that something's wrong with you. And just like that girl sitting there saying, it's like her, well, this is what God gave me, this broken body. What am I going to do? It's got shitty teeth and a stomach problem. It's like, well, you got to work on it. It's not, God didn't give it to you. You gave it to yourself, because you came here to work through what those things, the feelings that those things bring up, the things that those make you feel. That's what you're here to release. So you can't just blame God. It's like, God, what really fucked me on this one? God, I can't eat everything I want. I gain weight all the goddamn time. So, fuck. It's like, goddamn God, fuck. You should have known I really liked candy and ice cream. It's like, you guys, you are your own God. You are your own challenger. And you don't even want to step up to your own. You're mad at yourself. Like, don't set the bar so high. I can't do it. It's like, yeah, but yourself wants you to see you can do it. Because yourself knows it can do it because it's already done it. So it's trying to get you to follow through. It's like this connection to self. And so it's up to you to see. Like, the challenges aren't there to damn God. It's there for you to overcome and show yourself, how great you are. Like, it does make you feel great, like fucking healing their diseases and shit. But, it just is trippy because, I don't know. I feel like my life is so much easier. And it's so much, like, I feel better. I feel like I look better. Like, back when I was, like, on all those drugs and stuff, I feel like I looked, like, ragged. And there was a lot, man. I feel like just there's been such a transition even from getting off of all the drugs, especially knowing now how much problems that they cause inside people's minds and stuff. Getting off all those, which had to have been having an effect dragging out, and then having whatever, taking all those drugs had to be affecting me. And it was making me feel like older and sicker and stuff. Like, I seriously thought I was dying. And then it was the colitis thing that really just put me over the edge. And it was because it was such a battle. I was so sick. And they weren't listening. And it was like a lot of things. Like, everything happens. Like, when you look back, everything happens. It's so exact. Like, when you put all the pieces, like, oh my God, that was happening, and that was happening. Oh my God, you can totally see, like, you're being surrounded by the universe. They're pushing you so hard. And, and I had to see. But this botulism shit, that was like, fuck. I was back when I was first divorced. See, that's my midlife crisis. Re-entering out into dating. And then I had all these young guys after me. And here I was, this mom of 4. My body, that's what led to the plastic boobs. But but I'd go in, I would get Botox because I didn't have this line that made me, I felt like, look like I was angry or something. And then they, of course, got to fill it. Now that I've been doing all this face massage, and now that I kept being like, man, my eyebrows are so sore. It's so weird. And I could feel like a lump or something. And right here too. And so I kept thinking, man, it must be tension, and I'm pushing and rubbing and release, you're safe now, love yourself. I'm doing all this kind of stuff. And I do a lot of cool mantras while I'm doing that. Just love yourself so much. And then, and so I'm having all this tension in there. I'm thinking it's tension. Now I'm thinking it's goddamn fucking botulism. And I never even, you go and get that stupid ass shit and you think, well, it goes away, but it doesn't. It's just sitting in there waiting to be irritated by our fucking phones and the radiation or the fucking chemicals that we're breathing in, whatever it is. It's like they fucking knew. They knew ahead of time. It's like, hell yeah, if we do that, that's going to activate that. And then we're going to have a whole bunch of face cancer ladies in here. And then we'll just start cutting their faces up. Then we'll really turn them crazy looking. I'm not going in and having them start cutting up my face. And they have been doing that to old people. Cutting their faces all up, cutting their noses off, and all sorts of shit. And I think you got to come at it in a healing, like everything inside you, everything outside you, everything inside you. Mind is focused on the healing. And it's not even that you have to do that, dude. Because I had no idea what the Hep C. I wasn't even focused on any of that. Like, I have no idea when I had it, when I healed it, nothing. I just know for fucking solid ass decade, I was sick as fuck. And all they did was just pile meds on. And the first fucking one was because I got a migraine. The first fucking one, it was a horrible migraine. So I'm in this horrible ass fucking marriage. I'm stressed as a motherfucker. There was so many things to it too. because I was already divorced. Now I had 4 kids. I thought I was going into my happily ever after, and I was going into fucking nightmare number 2. And I just was like, so, I mean, I really thought I was going to get cancer and everything. I was out, kept being, well, if you're stressed out, you're going to have cancer. I was like over the charts every time on all those stupid tests. Those tests would go around. I think that shit is all on purpose to keep us like, oh my God, I'm at the fucking top of it. What am I going to do? I'm going to fall off the edge. Like, it fucks with our heads. And so I was, I went in for the migraine. I went to the ER because I had no idea what was wrong. I got up and I was so dizzy. I felt like my head was going to come off and I was puking. I was like, oh my God, something's wrong. And I went to the ER and then they said I had a migraine. Well, I had had migraines a long, long time ago, but it was more like a headache, a bad headache. This was like a whole nother level. I was like, what the fuck? And so, then they tell you to go to the doctor or whatever, and they put you on medicine, and then right away, so they start putting you on stuff because they start telling you, well, you have to take it all the time. Like, they're really, really not nice. And I worked at the ER, and I know how it is with these people that come in with their headaches, their backaches, and stomach aches. They go in, they look up their record, they see how often they come. They look at them like drug addicts. They treat them bad. It's like, so I didn't do that. And then I knew people who would, and then people do get addicted. There's a lot of people who are addicted to going in and getting their migraines because of, they just go in and give you a quick shot and you're just knocked out. You wake up and the headache's gone. So fuck yeah. But then a lot of people who have them, have a lot of issues, a lot of stress and stuff like that. And then, so they get hooked on feeling better, just like any drug addict. I mean, they turn people into drug addicts. There's such a different approach to so many different things. God damn. And I can see the other, like we could do it this way, but we did it this way. We could do it this way, but we do it this way. Like, there's other options I didn't see before. Like, that door had to open, and when it opened, it's a fucking floodgate. And so now I see, like, we have so many more options. And so, but back then, when I went on to all of their meds, and, and then I was caught up in the, I was a nurse and medical and science going forward and, anti-aging and all that stuff, like you can get Botox and it'll freeze the thing, and then your muscle or the crease won't sink in. Well, the crease also won't sink in if you keep fucking getting rid of the tension. You face your tension, you face the problem, and you keep releasing it, then you can get rid of it without going and fucking, but they don't tell us shit like that. I don't think they even know. That's what I'm saying. Like, these guys are idiots, and we're going and trusting them. They don't know anything more than we know. Like, people just go in, well, what do you think, doc? It's like, well, let me go look it up. Okay, the script says, it's like, okay. So we have, so when I went and I got on their stuff, and it just like, they add in more drugs and more drugs and more drugs and more drugs. And you get sicker and sicker and sicker. And it's like I knew on some things, especially in there, I got my brain injury. And then I was seeing this other side of the hospital, seeing this other side of the doctors. I was going, there was nobody on my side. I was like on my own, stuck out there. And I didn't know, I knew I was making mistakes at work. I was stressed. I didn't know there was so many things. It was a really, really hard time. And, it was when I was being faced with what will you do for money and how do you want to live and all that stuff. I was really being hit with that. And it went for years. Like I agree, Crystal. Like, it took us years to get where we are. These people, that's why I said, though, I think a lot of them are working on other things. Like, I think they've been working on certain things. They just are not aware of some things about life, about the world. It's like they see it through the way they're told to see it or something. That's going to fall apart. But there's other things. So I don't know. It's because the whole earth is forcing everybody to face things. Like right now, I guess the Schumann resonance things are off the chain. Like there's one video after another after another. We're getting huge solar flashes, is it solar flashes? These huge solar flares. These huge solar flares coming in, and X-class and all this stuff. Like the people who are all into that kind of thing. And saying, it's really hard to sleep right now because there's so much white in it. There's so much going on. And California's having a bunch of little earthquakes going. And what was that? It was something where I had seen where maybe it was some channeler talking to the Arcturians or somebody and saying that the solar flash is near and that's going to be the thing that does it. And I don't know. Because to me, the big solar flash, like the one out of the harvest, the one out of the Book of One, the one, it's like this big switch, but it's like the people don't see yet. It's like that. I don't know. We just got to see how it plays out. I mean, it's coming. And if this is the thing that changes it, and it has all this stuff, but these solar flashes are this energy and stuff, this pulsating, this energy that's going back and forth, pulsating here. It's like it's like this. It's kind of like a slow death breath for some energy, but it's the birthing of a new energy. So it's weird. It's like an energy dying and an energy birthing. So it's these two different forces happening. But the one force is going to be the one that goes, the light, because we're going into the light. We're leaving the dark, fucking finally, we're going to the light. And then, and it's going to feel so much better, especially if you are more alignment to the light. The people who aren't in alignment to the light, who've been very aligned into the dark and don't have awareness, especially because their ego told them that they're all like Christian or whatever. They all get up their own asses on stuff because they don't have the awareness to stop and look at themselves and question themselves and think about themselves. They just, align with a label and call themselves something and think that that's what they are and give themselves excuses and act how they want because they're this or they're that. It's like, but that's for everybody to see, and it's for each soul. Like that's what's going on. That's what this is all about. All this shit, all these things happening are to get you to look at things and question, it's your moral. It's like all this is like a click, 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 click of setting your moral compass. All this stuff happening is like, oh, how do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? Like, it's this reevaluation of things. It's like setting yourself. It's like development of self, to understand yourself, how you feel, who are you, what are you? And so, anyways, that's why everything is going on. And so however it goes down, I just know it's all for that. Everything going on is for that. And it is all leading us, because of all of the stuff that people have to face and release, it is leading us into this life and lifestyle of living blessed and gratitude and loving. And it's like this new existence comes from all the trauma that is happening. So the trauma has to happen. That's what makes the change. And that's just how it works in the universe. Light and dark work together. And so we have to go through this because it brings in that. And and I know people are all like, well, this is happening, that's happening, and all these people are crazy. And it's like, no, this is cycles. This is soul stuff. Go look in more soul stuff. Understand more about the spiritual world. And so the cycles are occurring. And that's going down. And all this time for these people, and I don't know in the exact sequence of events. I just know that, money's collapsing, medical's collapsing, the food, everything is collapsing because of how it was built and how it was structured and how we had become so dependent and stuff. So there's a whole bunch of things that have to occur to create like us to stop being dependent, and the stuff that's toxic to the earth. There's so much waste in the way that they do food. There's nothing good about how they do food and how we've accepted it, so we don't have to work so hard, so we can make sure we go to a job that we don't get paid shit, that we feel like we're doing something that we could never get ahead on. So, but if we were at home just growing our food and kicking back, we would have no thing. But that's why they got charges for resources, houses, land, taxes, so that we can't. It's like, how do we ever just sit there? How do we have our land? We can't even have it. But no, that's bullshit. We can. It's like, there's even always been free land. It's just like we didn't even know, because they try and make it like the only way to live is living in the city, living in their fucking world. And there is a place in China that they made a building. It's like, I don't even know. I think it was like 3 million people or something live in this goddamn building or something. It's probably not that extreme of numbers, but it's a huge amount of people live in this building and never leave the building. Never leave. And that's what they want for us all. They want to contain us. And they work from their homes, everything. They've got stores in this building, everything. Your whole existence is this building. And that's what they want. Like fucking China is such a beta. All these different things, because Sweden has been a beta, all these different places. They've always been testing and trying different things on people. And then they do something and then they go bigger. And they'll go to, like maybe they'll go to Africa and they'll do a whole bunch of bullshit there, because you don't just think it's America. Look what they're fucking doing in Chile. So this is, it's all over. And that is what they have already been doing, because that's why all those places are third world countries, because this is what they fucking do. They fucking destroy the native people's ways of life and try and control them and contain them and put them in ghettos and shit. Fuck. And some of these images I just can't even stand. Fucking I don't understand how some of these people, these like rich, not just rich people, because there's lots of rich people who still, I don't know. I think your heart hardens the more, rich people can tend to really harden their heart. People are out to get them. People are out to use them. People are trying to take from them. They've got to hold in closer. You can't trust people. And they start seeing a dark side in people, what people will do and try and get from them and stuff. So it's, there's a lot of lessons in all this stuff. Like people think like, oh, my dream life is just to be rich. You don't even know what the fuck. Like there's so much more complications. And you have those complications, like, no. So, anyways, that's why all this shit is happening. So people can see and look at things, and why idols are falling. Like, I don't know, this whole Swift thing is like a giant ordeal. It's like a Titan or something. And I don't know. This is like a whole thing playing out. There's all these different big things playing out. And it's like for humanity and stuff. So, and they all have their own things to wake up to. And if it is a solar flash, so if the solar flash is a thing, that will be dramatic. If it's a solar flash, it's going to be like super dramatic. Like it could be some solar flashes, but it is really hard for me to think that it is going to be this big main solar flash where everything changes. Because that supposedly, like in all those QHHTs and stuff, like all these ships come down and take a lot of people away because their vibration is not high enough to handle the big flash. Like that's what we're building up to is, all these people who are always getting ascension symptoms and stuff like that. And always, I've got ascension symptoms, which I think a lot of the symptoms they're talking about are also fumigation symptoms and poison symptoms, but they are sure it's all, ascension symptoms. I don't have ascension, I like when this is intense, I can't sleep, but that has been going for a long time too. And, it could be a bunch of different things, but like I can feel the intenseness of the energy. I mean, maybe it can make me dizzy sometimes or something, but it's not even noticeable really. And there was something, because even though the headaches too, the headaches I feel is atmospheric, which could be pressure, could be poisoning, could be it's in some kind of environmental thing. I don't think it's just the sun flash of energy, like this energy is doing it. I think the energy that is coming in that's affecting people, the reason it's affecting people is because you have stuff to heal and to process through. And it's trying to get it out of you in some different way. Maybe, make you be tired or make you sick or something. So your body's reacting to the energy because it's got stuff to release. Once you keep releasing that stuff, you won't have any kind of reactions. So to me, it's not just like, I don't know. It seems like the people take these weird approaches. Like, it's just ascension symptoms. Don't worry about it. We'll be there soon. It's like, if you have ascension symptoms, which to me, ascension symptoms, because this is energy. My stomach's growling like crazy. These are all, these ascension symptoms are like you are sad, or it would be all emotional and energetic, because that's what it is. It's these energetic flashes coming in of higher vibration, higher thought, higher things, about loving some, and then you have to overcome, like, what holds you back from that. So you have things you have to overcome. So it's lifting the bar for you. This energy is higher vibration, it's higher minded, which is all based on love and unity. And there's so many blockages that people have. So it brings those things up. And then if you're not using this time wisely, then you're not, releasing this stuff. And I, in the spiritual community, I definitely do not see a bunch of people just out there doing that. There seems like this other kind of just focus on what love and try and show everybody you're the best person in the whole wide world. And I don't, just talk positive. I don't even know. There's just so much of the, like, there's this one, a super spirit, and she's in Southern California. And then she just did another video because I had seen her a couple weeks ago. And she was like, oh my God, I just think I just felt an earthquake, which she did, because then everybody did. And so she just did another one. And I had already seen some other girl. And she was some girl who was like, I've been in California my whole life, man. I'm never scared of earthquakes, big deal, and all that shit. And it's like, God damn, these people are just like, this is the attitude though. like you gotta take a knee to nature. I mean, you gotta give it some respect. You gotta be like, oh God, yes, I understand. You're way more powerful than me. These people, like, so it's like an energy there. But this girl said that, so she's sitting on the ground doing something, and she said it was the scariest thing. Said she was still shaking. She was so scared. She said she was sitting on the ground doing something. She was looking at something, doing something. And all of a sudden she flew up, and then her walls like jolted. She said, I've never had an earthquake like that before at all. She said, I've never experienced anything like that before. But she said it flew her up, like the ground went up and then jolted out. It's like this big boom. And her house did it. And she was scared. And that's like, these people do not see what's coming. Like, it is more powerful than anything. And they're getting all of these things. And then when I see these super spirits in there, it's like, why, if you're a super spirit, why are you not being led to evacuate? Why are you not seeing that this place is going? Like, this is going to be gone. Like it's showing you and giving you messages. It's giving you the signs. It's time to go. It's time to go. Like, and then, in this, I don't know. It's like, because in the spiritual thing, like, I don't know, they talk to you and stuff, but if they're not telling you to leave, then, maybe that's you're leaving a different way. But, I feel like that there's these urgings and signs, but we ignore them. And I'm taking them a lot more. Like, I looked up like a truck. The Penske trucks now are so expensive, like $2,000 to rent the truck. So I'd have to still be renting a truck and getting, probably have to get somebody to drive it for me. I don't think I could drive that big truck. And plus I got to drive my car. So, and then I'm not going to take all my stuff, whatever. I'll just take the stuff that matters to me. It's just like this has been my life, like this downsizing. And I keep thinking about like the people on the wagon trains and, but, we do carry too much stuff. We do try and keep all this stuff. But maybe we're not just meant to just keep moving and moving and moving. And we're meant to just find a home. Oh, that would be nice. So, it's been my whole life, man. Ugh, my whole fucking life. Moving. Then even as I got to be older and an adult, and you think, well, I'm never going to move again. Like, fuck that. But then you start, because you're so used to that, like, even already, it's like, you start needing some kind of change. You need to let go of all this stuff. Like, when I was a kid, it was like every 2 years. It was every couple years we moved. And now it's, well, I've been here like 6 years. No, how long have I been here? Since 2019. 5 years, I guess. I don't know. But and anything can happen. I mean, the banks could crash before we get there. It could not go through the first auction. It could, there's a lot of different things that could happen. I don't know, because there's so much disruption in their system. And there's so many arrests going down. There's so much going down. It's just like, fuck, anything can happen. I feel like telling them, like, any of these people who want to try and come and take the house, well, I hope you're ready to deal with a lot of ghosts. I hope you're ready to deal with a lot of, they're probably not going to be so happy with this changeover. Good luck to you. You make sure you better take good care of them. Like, it's like, whatever. And it's hard too, because I love this house. Like, I've done so much, but everything is temporary. And I just can't get it out of my head that this map is changing. So no matter what, even if it's not for a few years, it's like, I've got to move forward. I've got to move on or something. So anyways, we'll see though, because I'm hoping that it all falls apart and then I can be here and then take my time and do, what I want to do. Move when I want to go and sit here as long as I want to sit here. Take my time, have this place be here with my stuff and be able to go out and drive around and go see places and figure out where I want to go. And there's so much, and there's so much, like, in how long it's all going to take. Because like Crystal said, it could be 5 fucking years from these med beds. That's one reason why I want to go get this shit out of me. Oh yeah. I had forgot to finish about the sore thing. So I was putting on all those things. I was having all this crazy reaction. And I had this big black goop, so I had this, it looked like I had a black eye. I kind of thought it looked cool. Kind of looked like this yin and yang or something. And so anyways, I kept trying all these different things. And then all of a sudden, a Vortex messaged me. And she said, try the horse paste right on your place. Just put like a little dab on there. So I did. It was like fucking magic. And so it was really weird too, because it was like you could feel like there was a raised thing, and it was all like you can feel, because it's a growth. It's the growth that keeps coming in. It's like it feels like a scab or something, like when you're feeling a scab, and it's got like a bunch of different edges and stuff. So, and these are like little cancers, especially a malignant that keeps growing back and growing back. It's like an annual plant that keeps coming back and coming back, doesn't die. And so this, it kept coming back and coming back. And even when I went in and asked the doctor, and she's like, I don't know what the hell that is. And I think it seemed like she burned it off one time. And then she said I would have to go to the dermatologist if it came back. And then I went back and I went to the dermatologist, and then she burned it off. And then she said, if it comes back, but I may not have had that. She may have been burning something else off, because I had a lot of those pre-cancer things burned off my face. And yeah, we used to go and get those too. I used to trust all their stuff. I don't trust any of it now. And I mean, they fucking let us put fucking botulism in our face. And so so I put it on there, and it like it changed the sensation, totally changed. And I was like, oh my gosh, something's going on. And then, so it dried up, and I reached up to feel it a few times. It was like, wow, that is getting flatter. It's like going out. And then I reached, and there was something on my finger. And so I was looking at it, I was like, is that like some dried charcoal or something? Is this like fucking some egg sac or something? What the hell is this? Because I can't see that good either. I was like, fuck, I wish I had a microscope and could see. And so then when I went in and I looked, and it looked like the darkness was gone that I had kept seeing, and it was flat again, and it was it still feels dry and like flaky and stuff. I'm still waiting to see if it swells back up. It feels like it's irritated, and there's still something there, but I feel like something came out of it for sure. I feel like something came out of it, and it went better real quick. And then so I put some more on, and I left it on all night, and I put some more of the charcoal and stuff on too. Is charcoal is supposed to be a mover, to move bacteria and shit out. So I put that on there too. And I'm just going to keep doing that. And I do have some more of that Saic tea. And Saic tea is supposed to be the strongest compound to fight different cancers and stuff. So I'm going to do the Saic tea this time when it comes. I will do that. And then on top of all the other stuff I do, because like burn dog root, and I think there's a few of those different things that are good for fighting antimicrobial and all that stuff. Plus the honey is even. So I'm going to do all the things fighting from the inside. Then in my mind, I keep making it go away and go away, get it smart. You do all this visualization, and you don't have to do it just like how I think or how I say. You got to come up with how you think and how you say. So you got to come up with your own, but it's not a weird thing to do, but that's what you have to do, visualization and stuff. So you got to heal it with your mind too. So healing it from going from the inside, healing it from going from the outside, healing it with going with awareness, and healing it with my mind. And then also knowing now that I've put this together, because it was so weird. Like, how am I getting this sore so right in my eye? Like, it wouldn't even be like how the other little things you get, and they say, oh, that's sun cancer and stuff. But this is under my sunglasses, and it's in such a weird spot. And it's like, if you go into your eye, you have a place like back where your tear duct is, and it's like a little hole right behind your tear duct. You can feel like a hole. That's where it's at. It's like, but think about, like, you have this botulism injected all in here, and then it goes and settles right here in my fucking eye. Like, I'm so, this has really got me. Oh my God. I just can't even fucking believe it. I can't even fucking believe I go and fucking trust these people. Like, I look back on that side of myself, and it is almost like shame, but it's out of ignorance. Like, I did not know there was this other existence. Like, I mean, we're all doing it. It's like there had to be some of us that say, stop doing it. Stop doing all this bullshit. Like, stop and think about it. Because none of us are stopping and thinking about it. Which is okay, well, they're doing it, so I'll do it. And these doctors, they don't fucking know. All they're doing is like, ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. They don't even fucking think. Where's my script? Ka-ching. It's like, fuck off with the fucking shit. At least there is doctors who are coming up with, like, realizing that they are corporate owned. And that is against the fucking creed of doctorism. They're supposed to be here to help us, and they're there to make us sick. It's to get us dependent. Get us sicker, get us on all these goddamn fucking pills and shit. And get this shit. Like, fuck. So, anyways, with the, so far, I feel like that the horse paste is really, effective. So I'm definitely going to keep that up. I'm so glad Vortex actually thought of that, because I didn't even think of that. And so I'm going to keep putting that on there, and doing all those other things. Because that's, to me, is how you got to combat this stuff. And that is coming as a full-on approach. And like I said, I've had things that I healed that I had no idea I was sick. Even though I was sick for years and years and years. And I have no idea if it was during that time when I had the colitis that I also had the hep C. And that is why I was so fucking sick. And they just weren't catching anything, and weren't, like, they don't catch all this shit. And they'll even tell you, like, you're crazy and stuff. They fucking, like, there's so many testimonials right now, too. People being told they're crazy until they fucking die. Like, this one young girl who kept going and going and going. And somebody else telling her story, of course. Because she kept going and going and going and telling him that something was wrong. She had serious stomach issues. They kept saying, no, you're fine, you're fine. It's GERD or whatever. And she had stomach cancer, and she had little kids, and it killed her. She was fucking, that has got to be fucking miserable. She wasn't even getting any kind of, well, I wouldn't want their treatments, but even if you had an awareness and had the diagnosis, you could be approaching it. You have a stomach cancer, then you think, okay, something is gone in there and is attached right in there right away. So you got to start doing like cleanses and stuff. And a big one so many people swear by is fasting. So if you've got something going on with your stomach, first thing, I would try and do a fast. I would do as long as I could. 3 days is supposed to be spectacular. And try a water one over all the other stuff. Give your body as little as possible so it goes in and it starts healing itself. It starts breaking down the cells. So it will start clearing out the rotten cells and getting rid of them. And that is what you have, is rotten cells that are stuck in there. And this parasitic bacteria, like if we looked under a microscope, who knows what all we would see. But it's all this gunk and shit that gets inside of you. And that's what, you know, they tell you is cancer, but it's really a bunch of bacteria and bugs and gunk and stuff that's trapped. And so you have to keep doing these cleanses. So anyways, that is an easy one to start with, is fasting. And I probably, when it back then, when I was very first going through that, there was probably a lot of times where I fasted. It was probably because I was just so sick. It was like, oh, I can't eat. I just don't feel good. And but that is your body also is working on itself. Like, if somebody is saying, I don't feel good, I can't eat, don't try and force them. Let them listen to their body. Their body is telling them, don't eat. We're busy working here. Don't add on to the problems. We're trying to work here. So that is something I kind of discovered with Stella, because at the same time, when she kept going through these periods of not eating, you know, I was trying to beg her and beg her and beg her. And then I saw this guy who had all these cysts, and he had gone to all these doctors and stuff, and they couldn't do anything, couldn't figure anything out. And he'd be on all these medicines and all that, and they'd come right back. And so then something happened, and he got sick or something, and he didn't eat for a few days or something, and they all went away. And that is when he was like, oh my gosh, it's the fasting It's so then I started noticing Stella's would go if she fasted. Now she's eating like, I swear to God, she wants to eat 4 or 5 meals a day. It's nonstop, and her skin looks so good. Oh my gosh, that tamoxil. I'm gonna keep thinking it's got to have something to do with that tamoxil. So that stuff is all for her skin, and her skin even before. And this is a sign I didn't know because the fucking vets don't know shit. And we go and trust them too. But she had a really dry nose. Her nose was super dry, and even chunks would come off of her nose. And I was, and you try and put oil and stuff, and she didn't like me messing with it. And so, anyways, that's a sign of autoimmune and stuff. It's the body fighting because it's so overburdened with all of the stuff. It's like attacking itself or something. And now from the horse, I'm thinking that's got to be the horse based. Perfect. Her nose is, I've never seen her nose like this. Never seen her with a black shiny nose. It's like, whoa, that is so crazy. So huge changes, like and also in her energy and her personality. Like she just feels she's just like a lot more excited and jumping up and stuff like that. But you know, she's demanding too. She's a demanding girl, and but she's so fun. I just love her. But she can drive me crazy sometimes. But the tamoxil and all these things, because it is similar even with my root powders, but it has some other ones in there. And it's supposed to be all the stuff for the skin. And then the turkey tail also is supposed to be any dogs that have autoimmune or arthritis or a lot of the joints and stuff like that. I don't even know. There's probably a ton of benefits for the turkey tail. But that's where I had seen is like for arthritis and stuff. And so and she's not licking her paws and licking her paws. She does a little bit, but not like she was. She was licking them and licking them and licking them. And she's not doing that. So there's like huge improvements on that stuff. And so definitely the horse-based will keep doing. The tamoxil, I'm definitely going to keep doing that. The Psych T, I'll probably do a couple of rounds of that. And then to try and, get rid of anything. And then I'll see, because maybe you have to stay on it for a long period of time. But that is, a lot of people who have had cancer and stuff have found that heals stuff. Like there's so many people out right now who have healed themselves from that stuff and of telling the different things. Like there's a bunch of different herbs and roots and stuff that you can get and make, that there's certain ones like burdock root is definitely on repeat in a lot of different things. There's also like marshmallow, wormwood, like there's a bunch of different ones that are these creations. So all those things, and that's why I'm just going to keep drinking them all the time. So that the cancers can't grow. They can't stay in there. They can't find a home. My body's constantly flushing, and then adding in all these minerals, and keep adding all those in. And to me, and then trying to work on, the tension and releasing old trauma and being aware and being present in your situations and what the things that go on. And so to me, that is like the changing in your lifestyle. And then plus, really getting down to how it is you want to live. And then right now, to me, we're just having so many things taken away. And it's like, so just trying to keep positive, knowing that what the things you're losing are so that you can process through the emotions so that something better can come, because there's something that you're holding on to that you need to let go of. And so you need to process through those so the next part can come in. And so you got all these people. But that is where, like, if it was the big solar flash, if it was the big one that were to come, the event, then I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. There has to be some other stuff that goes down to me. Because when the big event comes, it's supposedly all like that is when it's higher vibration. Like, you have to be higher vibration. They're going to take people off the planet because they're not high enough vibration. So to me, it seems like we have to go through this. Like, this year is going to be like all this, earthquakes, volcanoes, loss, seeing yourself, re-examining yourself, all of that. And through this year. And then when people are more, people will be a lot better in a year. Like, there'll be a big change in a year. To really fully heal all the different things, it's going to take a long, long time. But, there will be a significant change in in a year. Because even the dark night, usually, hold on. Oh my God, that was such a stab. God, that was like a stab. Hold on. Oh man, that hurt. Because a dark night, I think, is more like 6 or 8, 10 months. So even if everybody goes into a dark night where you just have to face yourself and face yourself, I think it's not going to be like super long, but there's going to be so much stuff as well to heal and rebuild. So we still have a lot of stuff to go through. But there will be people that are so far ahead that are leading the way. So there will be, it's not going to be like people are in the dark. They'll have direction to go, because there's going to be people going in that direction, because there is like a lot of us who have been doing healing for a long ass time and trying to tell people, trying to get people to catch on, to see what's going on, but they don't. And so anyways, I think that the bigger solar flash, the event, is, I always hear 2027 in my head, and I don't know if that's because it was said by like Corey Good or something one time, because it seems like Daniel Scranton and Corey Good both said it was going to be like more around 2027 was going to be the solar flash, the big event one. Like, all these little ones, I don't think are anything. These are like wiping people out. Like, the ascension symptoms and stuff are wiping them out. It's like, because you got to work on this shit. You got to be releasing shit. It is like it's going to be uncomfortable if you're holding on to anger and bitterness and violence and any of that shit inside of you. If you're holding on to that, yeah, it's going to be very uncomfortable. You've got to be releasing. There's no place for it in the light. And any of it you're carrying, you have to let go of. So that is this process that is occurring. But it leads to this other one. So I still, even though there's people saying that, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But to me, it still seems like there has to be, it seems like that we create the big one. But it seems like that there's going to be some events that are going to happen that push us to create it. And it's going to be like this financial collapse, seeing through the medical, because it's irritating. Like, I'm years in, and I can't even believe how emotionally I'm like really mad about it. Like, the doctors are allowing us to inject fucking bacteria into our face, and it's staying in there. And now thinking like, fuck, I've got this one in here. I'm just gonna keep doing the visualization and the sight tea and stuff, and then who knows, like, if there's other little pockets of this fucking shit that is there. I keep trying to think, like, where did they do those injections? Because I remember it was like here, and then they did them like here. They're always trying to put more pressure on you. They always want you to spend more and spend more. Oh, you should really get some here. You should get some here. So I don't know. I feel like it was like right in here and then over here. I don't know. Now I'm just gotta fucking sit here and think like, oh my God, I've got goddamn, right in my goddamn fucking face. And this one, you know, is trying to come out. That's why it's more like, what the hell? Is this trying to burst through my face? And you know, I would be good, get it out, but it doesn't all the way come out. It's kind of like a cyst that leaves like that little seed in there, which I'm hoping that that little seed thing that seemed to come out yesterday was the thing. And that this is just going to dry up now and go away and never come back. I'll be like, oh my God, thank God. And then I'll just have to wait for the next one. But that's like with Stella's skin too. She'll just get these like eruptions. I mean, I'll just get these eruptions of this fucking shit trying to come out. But now I know, like, fuck, first thing I'm going to put horse paste on there and see what happens. And, oh, and so here's my hair too. I don't remember if it just seems like there's so much less, like, you know, and then the darkness of the hair just seems like the richness or whatever, it seems to just keep coming back and coming back in. So, and then the tooth thing, like, just gotta keep watching. I think it'll just keep getting smaller and smaller in the darkness as the minerals rebuild and then rebuild back around that filling. But in the med beds and stuff, it should pull all that stuff out. Like everything that is not a part of us is supposed to come out. No, I wish we could hurry and get in the med beds, but the doctor's office too, you know, she's reading me all these things, and it's just so strange because she'd already left the whole message of it. But she's telling me, and this is the nurse, not the doctor lady. She's like, I don't think she'd be excited. She was looking like, she's like, damn it, no bonus there. I swear that's what they're all like, you know, they got to get you on some kind of meds or treatments. But she did send a referral, so there was something I needed. And so, I mean, they've still got me in their system. So I had said about the referral, and the girl said, oh, they should have it. Call them Monday. So I'm going to call them Monday and see what they say, see if I can get an appointment to go in for a consultation and see, you know, if I get anywhere with them and having them take them out. So we'll see how this goes. It's like there's so much stuff. Like, I feel like there's so much stuff like up in the air. You know, because the medical's gonna fail, like the banks are gonna, like everything is gonna fail. But it's like like there was a part when some of this stuff, and I just pulled into myself and was like, okay, well, this is all about to crash. But that was like 2020, and I thought it was all gonna go. And now here we are at 2024. Like, I didn't think that Joe was gonna go past. Like, I thought they maybe let him have a month or two, but fucking a whole goddamn thing. But look at all the stupid ass shit he's done. So that's what they needed. All his stupid ass shit to be done and all his stupid ass shit to be exposed and then have him look a fool, and which he's doing a good job of looking a fool. There was somebody in the comments and said something about, you know, oh, it's that video where is showing Jim Carrey, this guy who did this breakdown on this video, and it is trippy. Because he shows how Jim Carrey moves, and then he shows how Joe moves. And it is like, oh my God, it is like the same movements. It's like, you know, I never even thought about like how we all just move different. Like we have different timing. We move in a certain way. And then when you see him, putting him next to him, and he's moves just like him, the way he moves his hands and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, that is trippy. And so I had shared that video. And this girl, I guess it was a girl, I don't know, this person yesterday said, but that doesn't make any sense. Why would Jim Carrey go up there and not know the stuff? Like, wouldn't he know the stuff to say so he wouldn't make mistakes? It's like, he's making mistakes on purpose. Like, that's what's going on. They're taking down this guy's legacy. They're making him look stupid. Then they got all this other stuff coming up from the rear, like this stuff that Vladimir's saying, all this stuff Tucker's exposing, and there's just all this exposing, and it is this kind of it's all this gentle exposing. It's like you got to pay attention. And then it's so funny too, because so many of the people, they have such a reaction and they get so pissed about stuff. It's like, you guys, this isn't real. They get so mad, and they want everybody else to be mad, and everybody else to, so see all of this stuff that they have to see. So it is, there's still a lot to go. It's because, like, it's so crazy, because the awakening is this spiritual awakening, which you have these people who awaken to their spirit, and then they just go off on thinking they're the saviors of the planet, and then they just go off being mean to people and telling them how they're so much better than other people, and you're not doing it right if you're not doing it like. You got these people who are so scared, and we're going into these cities and control, and I don't know. It's like, fuck. There's so much of this, and they think they're awake because they see through the government. They see through it all. So they're the ones who are awake. The religious people, they think that they're the ones who are awake because they know Jesus is coming. They know what's going on. So they think they're awake. It's like, none, I don't see it. I don't see any y'all awake. Sorry. And there's a lot more groups too that would say, y'all aren't awake. You're not having conversations of awakeness. You're not looking at things and talking about things in a certain way. Like when you become awake, like these super spirits, they wouldn't be acting that way and talking that way if they were fully awake. It would make them feel bad. They would feel judgmental. They would feel like there's a lot of things associated with their behaviors. Why a spiritual person doesn't do it. And for them to do it and then claim that label, there's tons of these people, and they all think they're awake. That this thing that's going to happen is going to show them. Is the awake has to do with compassion and loving, accepting other people, to allow them to make their mistakes, not trying to control people, definitely not talking down to people like that you're better than them because you are you've mastered your what is that, manifesting. You've mastered their manifesting, they're living their best life. I was like, what is your best life? Like, so I don't know. That seems to really be something that is bothering some people, because these people are trying to say, like, you're not high vibration, you're not as good as them if you're not living your best life. It's like, I don't know. There's so much weirdness with that. It's all going to keep falling apart. And just like when I see these people, like that spiritual girl who's like this like big account guru kind of girl, and it's like, dude, how do you not see what that is happening on the earth and what that is going with the earth? You seem shocked. Oh my God, there was an earthquake. It's like, do you know what's to come? Do you know what's coming? Like, it's so confusing. Got these people who think they're so connected. Like, then how do you not see what's coming if you're so connected? You know, but maybe she, you know, like me, like I'm here and I know this place is going to be gone and I don't know when, and know I've got to start moving out of here. And maybe, you know, there's a lot of those people, but maybe it's way closer than we think, and maybe it's way further than we think. It's hard to know, but we're in it. Like, all this shit is happening. Like, there's earthquakes going on. There's all these shifts are happening. And all these earthquakes, that one that girl said, and yesterday when I was in here, I was in the kitchen, and I don't know if I was cutting up something, because I made this really good salad. I don't know if I was cutting up something or if I was still putting away groceries, because I ran up to the store and got some groceries. And but I was standing in the kitchen, and so my back was to the windows or something, and there's suddenly, like, it was an explosion, but it like shook. It was like this boom. And so I just stopped and I just stood there. I was like, okay, let's just see what's next. And then there was nothing. So I was like, okay, just go back and keep cutting. It's like, you know, I don't know. It's weird how we keep having these, you know, and I don't know if it's the tectonic plates shifting. I don't know if it's them in the tunnels. I don't know if it's, sonic boom. Like, I don't know. I just know something weird's going on for sure. And you know, it's just this waiting to see, like, in your area. Like, I don't know how much corruption is still in my area. Like, there's a lot of stuff, like, there's some time traveler who's saying that Texas is gonna succeed from the rest of the nation this year, and all these other states are gonna follow. So, like, fuck, if some of this shit keeps dragging out, but all these different time travelers and psychics, like, there is a bunch of girls and guys too. There's a bunch of people right now, and they are, I don't know, some of them are be like, my guide said last night, or I had a dream, or my guides keep telling me. And so they're all having these, and it's all about California. And they're all keep saying, you guys have got to leave. You got to leave. You got to get out of California. They're saying it's going to be bad. And the time traveler, I think I've seen a couple different ones. I think one said that it's going to be like an 11. It's going to be the worst earthquake is ever known. But somebody else, I think, said it was like a 9.5 or 9.8. It's going to be the worst earthquake that's ever, like, this is going to be a historical earthquake that's going to go down. And it's like right on the edge, you know, especially because California is not on the new maps. There's a lot of the West Coast is just not there. So there's going to be some drama that's going to go on. And that is going to be, you know, it's going to be a part of the awakening and everything. There's going to be man. And I don't know, like, if that is going to go. Like, that could go this week. Like, literally. This week, that earthquake could come and cause all of that. And that be the thing that wakes everybody up. Jolts them like, oh my God. And people are having to evacuate, cause complete chaos, mass casualties, horrible tragedies. Like, fuck, God, fucking building. Oh my God, so yeah, people having to dig people out. It's like how it shows in all these other countries. Only there's some big buildings and shit. Like, fuck. It's gonna be bad. Once it goes, it's gonna be bad. Maybe just for it to just fall off and go underwater all of a sudden is like the quickest way. I don't know. I have people over there that I care about, so it's like, oh my God. This whole thing is just so stressful. Anything that stresses out, see, it's our thing. It's not like the universe. Like, this is all happening. We knew it was going to happen before we even came here. And I feel like there's a lot of things that happen that remind you. It's like, I feel like I'm remembering things or something. So it is like the shit. Whenever it goes, like, to me, I still think, like, the bank, like, there's so many things that are just, like, right on the edge right now. And then, like, I don't know how long I can drag out, but this fucking volcano, or the earthquake thing is, like, so on the edge. Like, that could totally happen this week. It could happen next week. It could happen next year. There's no telling. They could keep having earthquake after earthquake and making people more and more scared and unsettled, and more people leaving there. It's hard to say, you know. Like, anything can happen. But the one thing is like, it seems like everything is just so slow. Like, we are going through it slowly. So, but then there is, like, some huge dramatic things that are just, like, all of a sudden out of the blue. Like, anything can happen. Like, fuck. And you think about Chile and Hawaii and in these other places, like, there's more chemical spills and shit going on too. Yesterday, our water was off all day long. And I went to the grocery store, and when I came back, there was a sign out from the water company. It said the water is going to be off. And they were fixing a water main line or something. So I was like, oh, that was weird. And so then, and it was off past the time they said. I was like, that is just weird. Just weird. Like, all of a sudden, they turned the water off. We had no water all day long. And then they say, well, they got to fix the water. I don't know. It was weird. It just, to me, it's all a part of this weird shit that's going on. And so, anyways, to me, there is going to be these events. There's no getting away from these events. The government is going to crash. And it's showing itself. It's revealing itself. All this stuff it's showing is showing why it's going to crash. And people, the people are playing the role that get all up mad and upset. That's the role. They're the ones who get it to crash, I guess. Because I know it's going to crash. So the government is going to crash. And then it's going to go way more into community building, communities policing themselves, like community, like you always have somebody there because everybody's on the same team. And so it's going to go into that. It's going to be different than how it is. And there's definitely not going to be people from fucking all these states away telling you what to do and how to spend your money and how to live and shit. Like, all that's stopping. And so many people want to hold on to that because it's all they know. It's like, no, you want to let go of that. You don't realize how much it's holding you back, how much it's causing you burdens and stuff. That's why it's all falling apart. It's because it's like holding you back. It's draining you. It's taking from you. So, anyways, all the medical, it's so fucking clear. It's so fucking corrupt. And all you have is a bunch of fucking yahoos. All they think about is their paycheck. I don't know how many of them really even think about our health or what the fuck they're doing or how they're doing it. They're just cutting parts off of us and putting stuff inside of us. I still, I'm just like, but we line up for it. We line up. Well, maybe this will make me happy. Maybe I can find joy in this. It's like we're all just so dead inside. But we can come back to life. We can come back to life and we can start caring about ourselves, loving everybody else, bringing that energy back in, bringing the energy of love and acceptance back into the planet instead of everybody feeling like there's something wrong with them. Start being like, oh, you're fine. You're fine. You're a little weird. We're all a little weird. Who cares? Like, don't worry about it. Don't try and take your weirdness out. What do you want to be? Just like everybody else? Just stale? Like, no. People have gotten rid of their weirdness and hid from their weirdness and tried to pretend like that they were something they're not. It's like you got to get back to just being your weirdness. Allowing yourself to just be you. Quit trying to put on airs. Quit trying to put on a front. Quit trying to put on a mask. Quit trying to be something you're not. Just learn to love and accept what you are. Is that's the journey here. Is understanding yourself, seeing yourself, learning to love yourself, accepting yourself. Because all that leads to the acceptance of everybody else. Because in this spiritual journey, when you're really going through the spiritual journey, then you see there is no good guy or bad guy. It's all perspective. It's all opinion. It's all, it's all on a bigger purpose. And it's so important. The universe needs that. It doesn't make any sense for us to all, see the same thing and agree on the same thing. No, the universe depends on as much information as possible. Depends on us all seeing different things and looking at different things. Like that is the universe that it's fine tuning. Like that is a joy. Like that is what, is like back when there was limitation and limited thought. There wasn't enough. Then this is an expansion. So this expands the universe. It gives blessings. It gives great wisdom. So the more that we see, the more that we go through, the more that we understand. And that is, it's this huge expansion. But everything is, to the universe, it's like working good. Like we're moving through lessons and we're growing and expanding all the time. And, but it's kind of like we don't really have any choice. It's not like you really have a choice. It's like it's like your job, kind of. Your job is experience, expand, create. It is like, it's your kind of like your job, but like if you think about like in your body, the different jobs, the souls, the cells, all the cells inside you have different jobs, different activities. And so it's kind of like our job, our soul, our energy, the energy that makes up the souls that are conscious, I'm hearing infiltrators, but it's like the ones that go out and incarnate. So that is kind of like an infiltration. It's like going into different realms and different realities for expansion, for, to go in and learn and grow. So it is, anyways, that's what the universe relies on, and it's going good. Like there's a lot of growth and expansion that is happening. So nobody's doing anything wrong, because it's like the things you think that are wrong are not wrong, because that's not what the things that they're looking at. The things that they're looking at, which, I mean, you're just talking about like a committee too, like, or the universe, the universal mind. The things they look at as the expansion, not, oh, like this little tiny fail, like, oh, did you see that, what you did right there that day? You shouldn't have done that. No, that's for you to figure out. They don't care about that. Like these people who spend so much of their life thinking that these people are tallying up their crimes and waiting to see if they're going to get into heaven's pearly gates, or if they're going to be sent to the barrows of hell. And you're wasting your time. There's nothing, they don't look at it like that. What they're looking at is the expansion, the growth, the knowledge, the movement forward. So making mistakes is movement forward. Even if you make the same mistake over and over and over, there's lessons there. My brother put on Feud onto Plex. I was watching that yesterday, which I didn't know what it was going to be about. I didn't know it was all about Truman Capote. And there was some weird stuff. Like, fuck, that dude was trippy. Like, he was a messed up cat, man. He had some issues. And, like a lot of issues. And, but there was one thing that he had said, and he was talking about, and I don't remember if it was somebody else talking about him or him saying this, but like the burden of perspective, because that's what he sees when he looks around, is he sees these weird interactions and how people's behaviors and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, like that, he must be tuned in the same energy I'm in also. That is how I've spent my fucking life. Like the things that are pointed out to me, the things I see. But, that's the role. We all have our own roles. We all have our own things that we're here to see, to understand. And so I completely understood when they were saying that about, like, the burden of going into society and it's like seeing what's broken, seeing what people are trying to hide, seeing the weakness in people when they don't want you to see it. It's like you can see through things. And like I said, to me, it's like I've had Freud or somebody in my mind. Now I'm going to keep thinking it's fucking Capote in there, like pointing these things out all the time and seeing things. And so anyways, but there has to be all these different roles. Like we have to have these different ones, just like these people have to be pointing out all the flaws in every system. My role is to point out the flaws in our thinking and our behavior, and for us to start acknowledging and to start being proactive. Because when you're proactive in it, then you start living the way you want to live. Otherwise, you're just the victim, poor you. Everybody's just mean to you and down on you, and you can't get ahead, and you can't do this, you can't do that. But you have to, it's like you have to change your attitude, and you have to start calling yourself out and seeing what you're doing that you're the one who's creating these problems for yourself. And so once you start realizing it and start being more proactive in your relationships, like, you know, you could be somebody who thinks like, well, they should be able to know. They should just read my mind. They should know how I feel. I shouldn't have to say it. If I say it, that makes me vulnerable. It means I have to set boundaries for myself. They should just know it. If they don't know it, then I'm just going to be mad because they should just know it, because then it makes me have to say something. And I don't want to say something because I don't want to be pushed to have to do that, you know? That's where you got to stop. You got to be like, okay, you can do this. Come on. You can set a boundary for yourself. You can be vulnerable. You can say how you feel. Yeah, it might be hard at first. You might start crying and feel silly, but you can do it. It's got to get easier and easier. You got to keep working towards being real, being honest, talking about how you really feel, what you really see, how you really think, being real about it. And then, you know, when you're being real, you can't sit here and worry about, like, if everybody else is accepting it. No, sometimes you're not going to be accepted. Sometimes you're going to be judged. You can't worry about that. You know, you can't worry. Don't let others hold you back. Move forward. You know, everybody's going to be judging. That's how, you know, kind of humans figure things out. And, you know, and if they judge to the point of, well, you're just a bad person who has no worth, then that's their problem. They've got issues, big issues that they need to work on. They're not your issues. So you got to learn to be truthful and honest, and, you know, because then you won't be mad at yourself. You get mad at yourself and then you take it out on other people. So you got to learn how to follow through on the things to take care of yourself and protect yourself and be real and honest. So those things are just all important. They're all part of the journey. It's all part of this definition of you, becoming your best version. And, and I don't want to say this other thing too, is because you've got all this shit going on over in England too. Is, you know, now Charles, he's got the cancer. And now he's going to have William step in, but now he's got a love child that's coming in to say he's going to step in. And so there's all this drama, but because that's got to fall apart too. That whole royal thing, that has been so insidious. So all of that is a part of our governing systems. All these royals, all these people who have governed us, and the people who have all taken bribes and payoffs and bullshit, and have looked the other way. And there's just been so many crimes because people who were all wanting people to look the other way and paying off and stuff like that all did not have our best interest in mind. And the people who took the payoffs allowed bad things to happen. So that's why they're, you know, a lot of people are involved in these crimes against the humans. And so there's a big problem there. And just by chance, there's all these states that are suddenly bringing back the squad and the electric chair, because there's no reason why, when you are having to take your exit, why it should be painless. Like, no, we're going to just go full on in because there's going to be a lot of it. There's going to be a lot of it. We got a lot of that coming up. A lot of the, to me, I would totally squad 100%. Like, no fucking way. And I'd hold real still. Please, crack shot, get me real, get quick. Like, no fucking way, electric chair. I just watched this old scary movie too. It had Rod Steiger. I was getting mixed up with Anthony Hopkins for a minute. Rod Steiger, and he was this crazy ass preacher who was going and getting bad people, and he had made his own electric chair. He was doing them right there, and then it even had this whole part where there was this governor guy, skeezy guy, and he was trying to get someone else to take his crime, and like there was the whole thing with it was exposing a lot of the skeezy stuff in our political system and stuff. But anyways, yeah, he was explaining what happens in the electric chair. I was like, oh, fuck that. Oh, hell no. I'll take the squad, thank you. Oh, hell no with that. And but they're bringing it back. And did I finish saying that other thing of that movie? Because I watched, it was something, I swear it was something I watched. that I was gonna say. Oh yeah, because oh yeah, okay, yeah, because the Truman Capote. There's one more to go, and then it was also weird because they do have all these ladies, but some of them, I was like Diane Lane. I was thinking, I don't think she does stuff to her face. I don't think she does a lot of injections. I think she's just naturally going. She's really pretty, and so she's just going into pretty. There was a lot of older actresses that did. A lot of beautiful older actresses that didn't do all of this facelifts and shit like that. So it's weird when you have some of these other beautiful ones that are just so scared of losing their beauty. They just desperately start doing anything they can. And so Demi Moore, she's in that group. She's like, there's a lot of times where she looks really weird. Even Naomi, whatever her last name is, when it showed her, and it's like, man, are they putting a filter over her face or something? It's hard to say, too, because you have her with dark hair and all these thick lashes and stuff, so it makes her look kind of different. And Calista Flockhart, to me, she looks like she's aging regular. There's some of the other ones. Oh, Chloe Sevigny, she looks like she's aging regular. It looks like she's doing a bunch of stuff to herself. There's some other actresses. There was a bunch, but the show is definitely different than what I was expecting. But there's only one episode left, and I was crocheting, so I wasn't paying as much attention. And it does have like stuff written sometimes, like telling things, because it's like biographical. I think this thing over this, and it's Ryan Murphy doing it. So of course, he's pushes in on the sex stuff. I don't know if if he is like so much like that, or if they use him to promote because of what he tries to use on his platform, so then he can use his platform to say his things, because he's got a certain way that he looks at things that he's trying to say, but then he's got a lot of stuff in his things. It's like, are they using him, or is he using them? Like, it's hard to say. Like, so I don't know. He's one of those, like, I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. Like M. Night, I think he's a good guy. Like, I think M. Night is a good guy. Ryan Murphy, like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like it seems like he's trying to say things. Same with Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele and the other guy I just said. It seems like, I don't know if they are, because they can be trying to just like use the system and play the game. But I mean, it's hard to say. But they do. Ryan Murphy and M. Night, and then I'm sure there's some other ones. But Jordan Peele, they are always saying things to try and get people to see things. So I don't know whose side they're on. I do think M. Night's on our side. I do think that. And but I mean, I could be wrong. It's hard to say. Like, this world is fucking confusing, man. So anyways, there's just tons and tons of drama. There's so much, man, there's so much stuff still with pets and stuff. Like, oh my gosh, there's so much. This is really like a painful purging, and just so much darkness and ugliness coming out in people and in our society, and how people look at things and their attitudes. And but that's why all this stuff is going. It's to change people's attitudes. It's to give them, it's not like to give them a chance. Well, here's your chance. You can get your shit together and go into a real soul world. It's not like that. But it is like, man, it's hard to explain, because it's like it's set in one way, and it's going, and it doesn't matter. It isn't like, you can't do it wrong. So man, some of the things, it's just like, I don't know how to explain it. It just sounds like just, but it is, you can't do anything. You can't do it wrong. Just work on you, and don't feel bad about yourself, and don't feel down on yourself, and don't feel like you're making mistakes, and don't listen to the people who keep telling you that you're not doing it right. and stuff. Don't trust them. How do they know? Like, nobody knows more than anybody else. So, so many people, what they know, it just is like, I don't know where they get their information. So, I don't know. Anyways, that's enough of that. I don't know if I was all over the place, if I was finishing what I was saying. I don't know. I swear to God, I never know where it's going. Just start talking, and it's like, I have no idea. So, anyways, but now we're on a Saturday, so now we're on the weekend. So we'll see what goes down and see how it goes, and always hope that something, but man, even when you sit there and think, well, I hope something goes down, then it's like, oh my God, and then what if the earthquake and a million people die? Then I would feel like shit. So, like, you don't want to be giving all that. Like, it does make you antsy, though. Like, come on, let's move forward. Let's start going in this other direction. But, it's for all these things have to play out the way they're playing out. We can't change it. We can't make it. We can't, force it to be different. It's got to play out the way it's got to play out. And there's a reason why it's playing out, and it has to do with the people waking up and the changes that have to occur to bring us into this new state of being. It literally has to be very different, like your attitude, like where you do have to look back at your old self and go like, oh my God, what were you thinking? Who are you? Oh, I don't even know you hardly. Like, I swear. It's like, what? Like, why would you let them just inject this shit in your face? Like, because I get it. You're insecure. Yeah. That's what it always goes back to. Feeling like we have to change ourselves. Feeling like we're not good enough. So, anyways, it's the journey. And then there's consequences. There's consequences for the choices we make. We can choose to learn to love ourselves, or we can go fill ourselves full of plastic and nonsense and bacteria and think that we're making ourselves better. Think about it. Plastic and bacteria make myself better. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. So, anyways, I will say it again. Love yourself, love everyone, and have a loving day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.